An 86-year-old woman walked into my courtroom owing $14,200 in parking tickets. She was completely blind, and according to the city prosecutor, she'd been racking up violations for 3 straight years. The moment I saw her case file, I knew something wasn't adding up. My name is Judge Judith Shind, and I've been on the bench long enough to know when the system gets it catastrophically wrong. This was one of those times. Margaret Chin stood before me that Tuesday morning, one hand gripping a white cane, the other resting on her daughter's arm. The prosecutor, a young man named David Hastings, who clearly hadn't read the file closely, started laying out the charges like he was reciting a grocery list. 47 parking violations over 36 months. Unpaid meter violations, street cleaning infractions, expired registration citations. He wanted the full amount plus penalties. I held up my hand. He stopped talking. "Mr. Hastings," I said, "before we proceed, did you actually review this case before walking into my courtroom?" He blinked. "Yes, Your Honor. The defendant has consistently ignored citations and failed to appear for previous hearings." Failed to appear. I let those words hang in the air. "Mrs. Chin, how old are you?" 86, Your Honor. "And how long have you been blind?" 12 years. Macular degeneration. I turned back to Hastings. "She's been blind for 12 years. The tickets started 3 years ago. Does that timeline interest you at all?" He went pale. He hadn't connected it. That's what drives me insane about bureaucracy. Systems generate fines, escalate penalties, and nobody stops to ask basic questions. A blind 86-year-old woman accumulating parking tickets, and not one person thought to look closer. "Mrs. Chin, do you own a vehicle?" "No, Your Honor. I haven't driven in 12 years. "Do you have a license?" "No, Your Honor." Now Hastings was scrambling. I turned to her daughter. "Name?" "Linda Chin." "Do you live together?" "Yes." "Does the address on these citations match your current residence?" "No, Your Honor. These are from our old address." There it was, the first crack. Then Linda explained everything. They had sold the car years ago, but the new owner never registered it properly. He kept using the old plates. Every ticket went to Margaret. The system didn't care. It kept sending notices to an old address, stacking fines, and eventually issuing a warrant. All automated. No human judgment. I asked the prosecutor, "Who's been driving?" He didn't know. Of course he didn't, because nobody investigated. Then I reviewed the ticket details. Midnight citations. Different neighborhoods across the city. Locations an elderly blind woman couldn't possibly be visiting. It was obvious. But the city's position? The car was still in her name, so she was responsible. That's when I made my decision. "Here's what's going to happen," I said. "The city will dismiss every ticket issued after the vehicle was sold completely. Mrs. Chun will pay $225 as a good faith settlement for 3 possible pre-sale tickets. That's it." The prosecutor hesitated. "You have until 5 p.m. to accept," I added. "Or I dismiss everything and make this public." He agreed. Case closed. But that wasn't the end. 2 weeks later, I received a letter from Margaret. The DMV had found the man using her plates. He'd been arrested. Then it got worse. A detective revealed he wasn't acting alone. He ran a fraud ring targeting elderly people. Over 200 victims. The city had collected hundreds of thousands in fines from people who never committed the violations. Margaret was the only one who fought back. Because of her case, every victim was reimbursed. New protections were implemented. The system changed. Margaret never asked for any of that. She just didn't want to lose her home. She passed away 2 years later. Peacefully. I still keep the small hand-knitted bookmark she gave me. It sits in my desk as a reminder of what this job is really about. Not processing cases. Protecting people.